Hi everybody, it's Honest John again. Now, the Democratic Convention got off to a rocky start. There was the email scandal, and even though none of the ideas that were discussed were acted on against Bernie Sanders, they did clearly show a bias toward Hillary at the DNC. And I don't know what Debbie Wasserman Schultz was thinking about when she insisted on speaking at the convention. She was roundly booed, and it was just not a good look. Fortunately, they scheduled her speech for early in the day when hardly anyone was watching. Maybe I'm not being fair, since no emails were actually connected to her, but I don't like her. And I hope she loses in the primary that she has coming up in Florida. But then Monday night came, and they had a lineup of heavy hitters that included Michelle Obama, who was the first person to ever have a speech at both the Democrat and Republican conventions, Elizabeth Warren, and Bernie Sanders. And I was embarrassed that some Hillary supporters chose to walk out on Sanders' speech, especially because this is a time when the party needs to come together and unify against Trump. This was small and petty and childish. And I have to say that Bernie did handle it all with a lot of class. See, since I liked Bernie and Hillary, I didn't realize that some Hillary supporters feel the same way about Bernie as his supporters feel about Hillary. I think I'll make this the subject of another video. I'm not going to get into it here. But back to the convention. One of the things that was very different about the Democratic Convention was that there were no empty seats. Everybody showed up. At the Republican convention, there were a lot of empty seats, and a lot of prominent Republicans stayed away, including the Republican governor of the state that the convention was being held in, both former Republican presidents, many of the candidates who had campaigned against Trump, and a lot of people, a lot of Republicans who are running for re-election or to be elected this year and don't want to have their name associated with Trump. The Democratic Convention, everybody showed up, including, of course, Obama, who made a great speech, and just everybody. And there were a lot of regular people who showed up to testify about the different ways that Hillary Clinton had helped them. There were first responders from 9/11 who thanked her for fighting for them when the Republicans tried to take away their health care benefits. There was one man who had dwarfism, and now many people with dwarfism are able to live pretty normally, but he had a lot of complications and needed many surgeries just in order to live something of a normal life. And Hillary Clinton had personally intervened to help him. There were people from Arkansas. Hillary Clinton founded a legal clinic there, a free legal clinic for poor people, and some of the people who had benefited from that were there to help her. And another thing she did, Hillary was involved in civil rights stuff long before the Black Lives Matter movement came along. And they also had a lot of police at this convention, and they did a tribute to the fallen police officer. I think it was a good illustration that you can support the police and still embrace the Black Lives Matter movement. And one of the things that I think people might have found surprising was that long after the cameras were turned off, Hillary was still very much involved with the people that she was helping when there was no political gain involved. Of course, this did not happen at the Republican convention because Donald Trump has never helped anybody. I gotta say, the entertainment at the Democratic convention was much better than at the Republican convention. I mean, you had Alicia Keys, Rachel Platten, Katy Perry, which also gave the Democrats a big edge in hot babes, which is important to me, I guess. Now, I have to admit, Donald Trump's daughters are lovely. But you know, if Donald Trump were here right now, he'd be going, yeah, you should see them when they're naked. And after all the great speeches and speakers at the Democratic convention, Hillary's acceptance speech was basically anticlimactic. I mean, she can't match the soaring rhetoric of Obama, or even his wife Michelle, or Elizabeth Warren, or even in some cases Bernie Sanders. So the Democratic convention did not end on its highest point. But the biggest difference between the two conventions were their themes. The Democrats were all about optimism, inclusion, acceptance, and courage. The Republican convention was about anger, hatred, intolerance, racism, and fear. And so we're going to have to wait and see which message resonates with the American people, because I hate to say this, but it doesn't look like courage might not be in style this year. Thanks for listening.